live here from Auto Club Speedway in sunny Southern California. Well, it's kind of evening time now, but here in California, this is the We're So Back 100 of the Three Rock series. I'm Josh Carpenter. I'm joined by Adam Kuhn. Adam, how are you doing?
Evening, Josh. I'm doing well. Excited to see a race here at Fontana. This is going to be a very exciting race. Like you mentioned, here under the lights here in California. I think it's going to be a very dynamic, very exciting, bunch of chaos, a bunch of stuff we haven't really seen here on JCTV before. I'll let you explain a little bit more as we get this thing started off, and just a lot to look forward to in the first race here of the Three Rock Series, Josh.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. So, this is going to be, for some of you older guys might remember the iRock series. I certainly don't. I wish it was something that I would have been able to experience um, when it was going around. Um, we now have, the modern day SRX series, Superstar Racing Experience, owned by Tony Stewart and Ray Evernham. That's an awesome series. This year, Three Rock Series, think of it like that, the iRock or the SRX series. These guys, they are driving the Toyota GR86 cars, and all fixed setups. Every race is going to be using the same setup, so no changes for that either. And of course, we're at 2 Mile Speedway and Auto Club tonight, but all these tracks are so different from each other. I think that this is going to be a really fun series. I'm looking forward to it. Six races, 6 weeks, and we're in for what I think is going to be a really fun show. Let's go ahead and look at our schedule real quick. Of course, tonight, Auto Club Speedway, Lernerville next week. Then we head to the road course in Tsukuba. Sobo, December 4th. USA International Speedway Dirt, December 11th, and finishing off the season at Richmond Raceway, December 18th. I'm telling you, you cannot get a more diverse schedule than that.
No, absolutely not, Josh. Like you mentioned, we got 2 dirt races, a bull ring of South Boston, a little bit bigger track at Richmond, but still a short track. And like you mentioned, the 2 mile D-shaped oval that is right here at Fontana, and then the road course at Tsukuba. So a lot is going to happen over these next 6 weeks, and gives us plenty of time to learn these drivers, Josh, in the three-ride racing league, as this is, of course, the first time they're here on JCTV, so it's going to be very fun to learn all these drivers at these totally different tracks and see what they're all capable at here in, like you mentioned, kind of a race to champion format here.
Yeah, I first of all want to give a big shout out to Corey Lindsay and Carlos Acosta. Carlos, he really has wanted to race, and he does a lot of broadcasting. So if you've been following around with me since the beginning, you'll remember the Galaxy trucks, a little bit of Galaxy Cup Series. Things kind of got a little strange around that time, but the season before we actually did the Galaxy Cup Series, 3Y TV, which was Carlos Acosta, actually broadcasted that series, and so I'm familiar with him. 3Y TV, that is 3Y TV. Carlos Acosta does that, and he really wants to race, and I can't blame him. I know as me myself, I love racing, and I've been very blessed to be able to be a part of the In the Pursuit Truck Series last couple of seasons, with Dawson taking over the reins of that, doing the production. So Carlos, he wants to race, so reached out to us and allowing him to be able to do this.
Yeah, right now we see Carlos right now 5th on that leaderboard in this practice session. right now on the racetrack behind Miller, so it's going to be a lot of this tonight in this race, Josh. I think a lot of bump drafting and just trying to see what line works the best around Auto Club Speedway. Right now, you're going to see, obviously, in two-car tangos, just the bottom, you want to hug that white line, but if we get more cars in this pack, like we have seen a little bit already in this practice session, and like we will see in this race, it's just going to be hectic and go where everyone else isn't.
Yeah, I'll tell you. And the NASCAR vehicles, whether it's trucks or Cup or Xfinity, you can run anywhere on this track. Toyota GR86, I'm not really sure, but I'll tell you, with what little bit I have seen in practice, these guys are going to be using the apron. They're going to be using every little bit. If it's paved, they're going to go there. I think there is these cars are so much slower at speeds than what we are used to seeing here on JCTV with NASCAR vehicles. But these things, they will get fast, and these guys are going to try to find any lane they can get to pass.
Yeah, you mentioned these cars, the GR86 is a little bit slower. They're running seconds, about 13 seconds slower than what we usually see here at Auto Club Speedway, so a little bit less horsepower probably, and see an accident in the pit lane here, but probably also a lot more downforce with those rear wings, Josh.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty fun to see what these guys can do tonight. You know, slower speeds, I don't think is going to bother anybody at all. I think a lot what we're going to see tonight might be more like a Daytona or Talladega type style of racing. I could be wrong on that. I've never driven this car track combo, but I think that it very well could be much like Daytona Talladega, drivers hugging that bow. Goodness, well, there goes Smith, the outside wall, but yeah, hugging that bottom line. I've seen people fighting below onto that apron already in practice. Possibly go down there and try something out. But as the season progresses, I'm really excited to see how these cars handle on each and every single one of these different surfaces.
Mentioning the different surfaces, with this being really the only speedway we have, the only large, intermediate, or super speedway for these cars in the season in the 3-Rock series, it's going to be really bumpy on the long runs tonight, Josh. With the tire aggregate here, is just going to be a handful at the end of these stints, I think, and it's going to be very interesting to see, like you spoke of, what the setup's going to do at the end of that, with this being just one base setup for everything, everywhere, no matter the surface, no matter the conditions. Just going to be one one of the many intriguing things to see how it's going to be pretty dynamic tonight with a lot going on. Going to have, of course, the track cooling off, I'm sure, with the sun continuing to set. So a lot of things to pay attention to tonight under the lights here.
You mentioned this bumpy surface. This track surface is so old as well. It is one that will absolutely chew up your tires if you're not careful. And it's been a long time since this track, 2 Mile Oval, was paved. So we'll see. I mean, this is the only test, as you said. We'll get to see these guys on a track of this type. And I don't know. I think it's going to be a fun show. And, if you want to get your season off right, this is a place to do it, for sure. I mean, you do not want to have a bad finish tonight and try to crawl yourself out of a hole next race.
Yeah, with this only being 6 weeks, 6 races, and you might have no opportunity to have an off. It just might have to come down to whoever has the best performance over the 6 weeks, no matter if it's just 6 straight fifth place finishes. It's just going to be about consistency when we get down to the end of the wire here in just over a month time, Josh. So it's going to be very important right now just to get to the end tonight and just try and get as many points as you can, and like you mentioned, to set up better for next week. But there's going to be a lot going on in the meantime to get there before we get there.
So drivers are in drivers meeting right now. They were having drivers meeting 5 minutes before grid, and yeah, that's right. No qualifying at all. These drivers are gonna get placed where the sim puts them at. So that's another thing to watch out for. You know, if Hackthorn right now, he's P1 on the practice charts. He could be starting 15th.
Yeah, you mentioned top of the show old Iraq. That's pretty much back to the roots of Iraq. Just pick a hill. That's where you start. Line up wherever the car is slotted or whatever. They went through a couple different formats of starting grids in Iraq, but it was almost all the time just random grids. Just pick the pill and that's where you go. And I think that's going to make this series a lot of fun, especially like you mentioned tonight, with this being such a wide out racetrack and people are going to be all over the place using every line as possible. It's going to make not just the entire race very, very fun, but it's going to make those opening 2 or 3 laps very, very interesting and maybe crucial to watch out for if we have major contact with possibility of, like you mentioning, someone who could be really fast gets maybe slowed down by Dirty Air early on already.
All right, under a minute left. We don't know any of these names as far as their racecraft goes, but just for funsies anyway. Adam, who's your pick to win?
I'll go with the man from TV, and I'm only doing this, not only, I should take that back, not only, I am partially doing this because I think he's your pick. I'm going to try and steal him from him. I'm going to go with Carlos Acosta. He looked really good in that practice, Josh. He was all over the track. Like you mentioned, he was one of the most aggressive ones going onto the apron that we saw right before we went on air. So I think he's going to be very hungry and very determined to get this win from the booth to the racetrack.
Joke's on you. I was not going to pick him.
Okay, I still think he's going to have a very great showing tonight, and I still think he's going to be the one to watch out for tonight with all the moves he was performing here in this practice.
I'm going to go with Trevor Butler. I don't know why, but I'm going with him. So we'll see how he performs tonight. 8th in practice. See where he starts and how he does in the race. So checkered flag on practice. These guys are taking the grid. And let's see if this is going to work with the starting grid. And it looks like it is. So, starting on the pole is going to be Drew Eisenman. Second, it's going to be Michael Whitley. Brad Smith will start third. Matt Gruenberg will start fourth. And in the 5th position is Corey Shellman.
James Miller's lined up 6th. Reese Clark gridded 7th. Carlos Acosta lines up in the 8th position with Corey Lindsay in the 00, slotted in 9th. And Trevor Butler, your pick to win, Josh, in that number 12, is lined up on that 10th position on the grid.
Starting 11th, in 11th is going to be Matt Hackenthorn. 12th is Kevin Finn. 13th, Brett Miller. And 14th, Dallas My Hand. As the grid is rolling.
One of the possibilities we mentioned in those last couple minutes of practice, one of those really, really fast guys in practice having a bad draw on this grid. And Josh, you mentioned that Matt Hackathorn could have started off in the back. He's going to get a little bit better than that, but fastest guy in that practice session, the only one to break a sub 53 second lap, is going to line up 11th here, Josh.
So the field is double file on the backstretch. Some drivers still trying to catch up. Of course, this track being more than a mile, we will only have just the one pace lap for Barney the flagman turns him loose.
See the outside lane not really up together. James Miller pulled to the side. They're rolling off a pit road, and the outside lane is very untightened as we get ready to start this opening race here, Josh.
This is the We're So Back 100 from Auto Club Speedway in the Three Rocks Series. Pace truck gonna make its way down to pit road with Drew Eisenman leading us to the green flag. And green flag's in the air. We're underway here for the Three Rocks Series. Already 3 wide. Car way to the outside.
Gonna be the 54, Matt Grunberg. He is gonna lose a bunch of spots here after starting in the 4th position, Josh.
Fallen down to 9th place so far. Eisman, Smith, and Whitley. Top 3. Sheldon hanging on the bottom. Sheldon has Miller behind him. Trying to push.
'94 Willie had a good run there through the center of 1 and 2, but it doesn't have a lot of momentum heading down this back straightaway. But they were going to continue to challenge for the lead. That got a good push there once they actually hit the back straightaway. Not quite clear of Eisenman yet. Going to try and do it going to 2 and 3, Josh. Still going to continue to commit to that top line, though, with Miller just behind him.
And Willie had a great run there, but there's some shuffling in the back. Costa goes all the way up to the top. Meanwhile,
yeah, I know we only see 4 or 5 cars, excuse me, Josh, trying to use that top line, and just with so much few cars spread out compared to these other 2 lanes, they don't have a lot of momentum. But now a 5th car going up there, I think if they can just get a little bit closer, they're going to be the line to beat. But these 2 on the bottom, very tucked together right now, Josh.
You know, one thing I know with the NASCAR Cup cars, next gens, you get them rolling on the high side, and they are unstoppable if you have a group working together. I just don't know. I mean, with these slow speeds, I mean, granted, right now, Whitley, 132 entering turn 3. But I think with these slower speeds, and top lane, I just don't think it's going to work. Seisman is on the apron, as well as Smith behind.
Talking about that higher line, Josh, and it is just pretty much dissipated. Only 2 cars up there at this point. It's going to be the 22 of Reese Clark and the 54 of Matt Gruenberg, who fell back a bunch of spots there in the opening couple laps. And Matt Heckathorn also up there now, just a little bit further from the field in that last position in 14th.
Here comes that outside line, though. Whitley is now ahead of Eisenman. I actually noticed Eisenman got a little squirrely there, thinking maybe a push from Smith. That car just did not like, got him squirrely, but how about him line now? It's formed back up. Eisenman once again back on point.
Carlos Acosta was one of those guys in turn 3 jumping to the top side, trying to get the momentum going. He's doing the same thing again here at the end of the front straightaway, but you mentioned Whitley continuing to be side by side with this race lead with Eisenman, and still got Miller right behind him, but Acosta making ground up now only 3 rows behind the race leaders, trying to get something going on Lindsay.
See, he's making it work. I'll give him credit. He's making the top lane work more than I expected it to. but I think it's mainly because of the side draft these two lanes on the bottom are giving each other that is helping that higher line out. Acosta's actually going to tuck in behind Lindsay. Let's put Acosta, fourth car on the outside. It jumps right back out into that high line. They're 3 wide.
What a great job Brady Smith and James Miller are doing right now, Josh. Just being the second car in line in a speedway race is never fun. Just worried about the guy behind you, trying to stay even with the guy ahead of you, and both of them are doing a phenomenal job giving both of their lanes the momentum they need to stay even right now.
Yeah, I never like being the pusher. I like being the one being pushed. These guys are doing a great job. See there, I mean, it's so hard. What I'm noticing, it is so hard for these guys to get tucked up together. So it is just, you know, tiny little bumps. Think of it like the Xfinity or Truck Series. You're not allowed to lock bumpers. I'd rather just kind of bump them ahead. It's kind of what it seems like here, is that it just can't really lock bumpers.
Seven cars on the high side down the front straightaway going into turn one, but they had a little bit of a gap between the fourth and fifth cars in that line, and they continue to fan out, maybe looking double file back there deep in the pack, but up front they continue to be about 2 by 3 through these first couple cars.
I mean, are you telling me we're going to see 4 wide? They're looking like it back there.
If they get enough momentum, I think we can see it, Josh. It's just, like you mentioned, it's so hard to get close together right now, and there isn't a lot of momentum on that top side. If you lose one car, it just all breaks away, it looks like.
This track is wide enough that they can go 4 wide easily. I'm not so sure I want to go 4 wide, but you can do it. Meanwhile, Whitley and Eisman continue to battle side by side for the race lead. They're getting so close together. I'm wondering, you know, I mean, we mentioned it earlier. Track surface, it's old. These tires start wearing down. Cars are going to move around a lot more. The one thing that'll help these guys is it is nighttime. The temperature is 79 degrees. That is track temp. So they're not going to be sliding as much as, say, in hotter conditions, but still, these tires are going to wear, and these guys will be feeling the effects of it. Like top 10 still together, 11th through 14th, a little bit back, but Finn trying to hang on, and he's actually getting the draft ahead off of Miller, which Miller actually looking to make it 3 wide.
Up front, Michael Whitley clear for the race lead momentarily in turns 3 and 4. Able to pull to the bottom for a second, but came back up in front of James Miller, and here comes Drew Eisenman back trying to get that race lead on the bottom. I think he is going to retake this lead going to turn 1, Josh. It's going to be very close here. He's still got Brady Smith all over him, a little bit of bumps there through the trioval. It's actually going to be Whiteley with the advantage here.
Yeah, Whitley actually led that lap. Third lane.
Oh.
Still trying
I'm
to get
seeing a lot of... Sorry, Josh.
I was going to say, they're still trying to get that third lane. That's where Lindsay moved out of line there for a moment.
I was going to mention that I'm seeing a lot of movement from that second lane. You were just talking about that tire wear, and It was that second lane, a little bit down the front straightaway here too. You can just see Whitley just bouncing a little bit all over this track, and all the cars behind him snaking along with him. And I think it's just going to get worse, like you mentioned, as this run goes on, and these tires just continue to persist.
Usually in these kind of races, drive like super speedway races, I want to be on the bottom. But you know, as these tires wear more and more, with the way that things are looking, I might want to be on that outside. Not necessarily in Whitley or Miller's position, but somewhere on that outside line. It's going to be a lot harder for that bottom line to hold that bottom. They're going to be sliding around and maybe have to lift a lot more not to get into the outside line.
Carlos Acosta with big moves that last lap, both out of turn 2, down the back straightaway, and off of turn 4, trying to make a lunge here into turn 1. Might get put 4 wide here for a split second. Got by the 15 of Dallas Myhand. In the process, though, Josh is going to tuck in line behind Corey Lindsay, though.
And once again, looking to the outside. Costa wants to go. And I think that Grunberg also wants to go. He went all the way to the outside. Wants to get to the right rear of Acosta, but it is not going to work for Grunberg.
Continues to be photo finishes at the start-finish line for who leads what lap. Whitley with a little bit of advantage going to turn 1. Thought about tucking low, but gonna have to stay up high in that second lane with James Miller right behind him.
These guys are doing an incredible job keeping it off of each other, staying side by side. And once again, you already gave them the shout-outs. Oh, there we go! And
Miller got in the back of Whitley, and it's going to be the big one, Josh.
I think Eisenman was the only one that made it out of that.
I think Eisenman maybe... Honestly, Trevor Bartlett might be unscathed there as well. We're going to, of course, look at this JCTV replay, Josh, and see what happened entering turn 3.
So there was that there, the initial contact that sent Whitley around, and then there was more contact with Lindsay getting into Miller. Smith involved as well as a few other drivers.
I think Carlos Acosta also got through unscathed. He just had to take a dive through the grass. Kevin Finn looks pretty relatively clean through that.
Oh, man. Costa had to get hard on the brakes there to avoid making contact.
Oh, man, he almost got hit by not only Lindsay, but someone else skating down the track. That may be Shellman.
That was...
Yeah, Corey Shellman was sliding down the track almost right in front of Acosta there.
Incredible awareness there out of Acosta. So... Miller, Shellman, Smith, Lindsay, Whitley, Grunberg down pit road.
Oh, Josh, another great save from avoiding the incident is Dallas Mayan, who just completely hooked a left immediately as soon as the first contact was made and just drove it through the grass the entire way through turn 3 and was able to not be involved at all.
was deep in the grass. You know, I think any driver will take 1x for off track over 2x or 4x for car contact. So lights on the pace truck are off. Drivers will get double file. There are 0 fast repairs for these drivers. So drivers that were involved there cannot take a fast repair. It appears Whitley and Grunberg are the only ones, excuse me, still on pit road. Drew Eisenman and Trevor Butler are going to be on the front row for the green flag. 15 laps complete. Working lap 16, and it'll be 34 to go when we go back green. And the We're So Back 100 Three Rock Series here at Auto Club Speedway. As the lights on the pace truck are back on. So drivers can catch back up. Still 3 drivers that not even on the front stretch yet.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up, Josh. Brent Miller was in turn 2. Corey Lindsay was not even halfway down the back straightaway, and James Miller was probably about the same place there when the field was getting ready to see the pace car make a left, the pace truck take a left there. So good call to extend this by 1 lap so we can get these 3 caught back up here.
So the field is heading into turn 3.
Real quick, Josh, before we go green, Michael Whitley has disconnected from the session. So guy who led quite a bit of this opening race, battling with Eisenman for the race lead on the outside lane, he is going to have to end his race just only after 15 laps tonight, Josh.
Thanks for that update. Pace truck is in. And inside the restart zone, green flag's back out.
Surprised to see only 4 drivers chose the outside lane here on this restart. And they're just going to try and tango themselves up to speed on the outside.
Yeah, they're trying.
Ooh, up front, 3 wide for the lead. Acosta went high.
Acosta went low. He's on the apron. No room to come back
That's
up.
what I meant. They're about to go 4 wide for the lead, Josh. Here comes Hackathon.
No, they are 4 wide. Acosta still on the bottom. Here comes Miller.
Yeah, James Miller had a huge run there. Hackathorn had a good run into turn 3, but he just used it up. in the widest part of the corner and just kind of burned it all up there going wide. And they continue to go side by side for this race lead with 3 abreast and side by side for 4th as well with Clark all over Miller here.
Miller led that lap. He gained 8 positions on that lap.
He led that lap, and he's going to be in 5th place by the time they come off turn 2.
Yeah, now he is. He's falling back. Eisenman and Acosta side by side for the race lead, but Eisenman actually almost clear of Acosta. Here comes Miller.
Ooh. Brady Smith got a little bit tight, I think, there going into turn 3, pushed a little bit wide into Race Clark there.
Miller and Clark struggling, but now 4th lane as they are 4 wide.
Matt Hackathorn's been in the back most of this race so far, Josh. We mentioned that fast practice lap, but now he's got Kevin Finn behind him trying to make something happen here on this top side. But that 3rd lane, what a good run Miller has with Race Clark behind him.
Before we went live, you made a 2011 Talladega joke to me. I really feel like I'm watching 2011 Talladega right now.
That's what that felt like down the front straightaway when they were 4 wide. Hackathorn's going to try again here. He doesn't have Kevin Finn behind him.
And for those that have no idea, that tied the closest finish in NASCAR history with Jimmy Johnson just edging out Clint Boyer by 2 1/1000ths of a second at the line. They are still 4 wide here at Auto Club.
Eisenman barely had that advantage there in that 2nd lane. He's got Smith and Shellman behind him. Shellman's going to drop to the bottom lane, though, entering turn 1.
The very outside line has dissipated. The 3rd line might... They're still hanging on. Miller still leading that outside line. And they are still 3 wide. Actually, now 3 wide for the race lead.
Yeah, that was a great run for Miller and Clark there, entering turn 3. I don't think James Miller is going to have enough to clear if he's going to stay tucked up here with Race Clark, and no, because here comes Acosta and Eisenman back on the inside. I think that 4th lane, Josh, you mentioned, they dissipated really bad that last couple of laps. They have a lot of speed, but I don't think they have enough cars, enough momentum to keep up using that 4th lane and keep consistently using it. So they're going to try and poke out here again into turn 1, making it 3 wide for the lead as the bottom lane has completely disappeared, entering turn 1.
Now Eisenman has no help.
Tried to get clear of Acosta exiting turn 2, couldn't quite do it. They are going to be 4 wide for this lead here, Josh.
Oh my goodness. Miller and Eisenman so close together. Eisenman now not giving Acosta much room. Only 2 wide for the race lead now. Acosta still holding strong on that bottom line. One thing I'm noticing, Adam, this time around, we noticed when Eisenman was leading that bottom line, him and the rest of the bottom line were going below the apron on the front stretch. Acosta's staying right on the racing surface, staying above that apron. Here comes Miller and Clark once again.
One thing to also keep in mind, the number 8 car, Corey Shellman, he is in this pack. He is racing with these leaders. He is affecting all the air, all the momentum, all the runs around him, all the cars around him, but he is 1 lap in the rear. So he doesn't have any effect on positions for himself in this battle, but he's going to be affecting everyone else's positions. As you see, Matt Hackathorn all over the track in the background trying to get some momentum as Eisenman and Acosta again 7 thousandths of a second separated them this time at the start-finish line for the lead. Here comes another run from Miller and Clark, a little wobbly there into turn 1 though.
Clark went all the way to the wall that time. And Clark,
Yeah,
he's gonna stay up there.
I think something happened with Reese Clark's car there because it looked like that car got very upset. Did a good job saving it and not hitting that blue safer barrier there, just keeping the car underneath him, trying to get Matt Hackerson behind him to keep this momentum going, but the guy is just going to continue and tuck down in the draft here in the back of the field.
Oh, goodness.
That was a very bold move, but oh, he's almost in the grass there. And he made that work. He made that stick. Oh my goodness. What a move by Race Clark there.
Yeah, Race Clark, pink car on the bottom. Getting into third in the bottom lane.
Stole that spot from Trevor Butler there in the 12.
These guys are handling their cars. See them still wiggling, and of course, top three did not come down pit road at all. Smith and James Miller did come down pit road for damage repair. Look at Clark on the apron. Clark's going to take the lead.
Josh, I was just going to just yell over you because Reese Clark with another bold move on the bottom. We said earlier, just go with a knot. I don't know how and why Acosta wasn't defending that bottom lane. We've seen almost all race the leaders just protect the bottom through the front straightaway, and Reese Clark not doing it now on the back straightaways. He's going to have Mahan on his inside going to turn 3.
And I think he saw something, because look at Dallas, man. Now Eisenman going down to the apron. Oh, contact with Clark.
Yeah, mine blocked that, and that just caused Eisenman to try and shoot for a hole that really wasn't there. Contact with Reese Clark, and Clark's going to go up to that about third lane and block Acosta there. As that fourth lane has cars, it has momentum. I don't know if it's going to continue, though, with the way that bottom line's lined up.
Acosta on that outside line. Eisenman going down to the apron. Eisenman has help.
Carlos Acosta got in the back of Race Clark off of turn 2, and Race was all over the place. He now has Brady Smith behind him, pushing him.
If you want the lead, I think you've got to go down to the apron. Off of 2. Before anybody else does, but Eisenman side by side for the race lead. He's back to where he has been.
James Miller on the outside now of Dallas Mayan, trying to make it a 3-wide battle for the race lead. He's going to be there in the entrance of 1. Don't know if he's going to be there by the exit of 2. Good run so far, but he's not going to have enough momentum. Here comes Race Clark. What's he going to do with Miller in front of him? Go to the outside. He's going to lose half his help there, though.
Clark and Smith all the way up against that wall. Look at Dallas going back to the race lead.
Eisenman with a good run, not going to be able to swing to the bottom. Mine's going to block that. A little bit of contact there maybe between Acosta and Eisenman.
Eisenman actually going to lead that lap.
James Miller again, another phenomenal run down the front straightaway. 3 wide again for the lead with him on the outside.
Oh, Eisenman washing up.
I think he might have got a little bit of door contact before that to lead to that. Mayan's going to block all the way down to the second white line, but Hackathorn's going to be down there. Here comes Matt Hackathorn.
Yeah, Hackathorn was down there. My hand blocked. Hackathorn went even further down. I told you, if it's paved, these guys are going to go there.
It's going to be real dicey later in this race. They have those runs like Heckathorn just had entering these corners because you're going to run out of banking real fast. And we saw it work a little bit in practice, Josh, but I don't know with these old tires. I don't know if it's going to work on the flat. As Heckathorn has no momentum at all down the front straightaway.
Yeah, he is falling back. Look at that, all the way down to now 6th, 7th, still losing speed. Now
3 wide for the lead again. Here comes James Miller with a push this time from Race Clark. They're going to lose a little bit of momentum though, again, staying to that top side, Josh, entering 2 and 3.
my hand with a little bit of tightness, I think, off 4.
Still able to swing to the bottom to block Butler there, who almost went to the grass to try and just put his headlight there. Good run here for Acosta. Pushed Eisenman out to the lead in the middle, Josh, and then left him out to dry. Swung to the bottom.
Eisenman gonna push Acosta down. Here comes my hand once again onto the apron off of 2.
He was onto the apron before they even got to corner exit.
This driver's pushing the limits.
One thing that's going to be really dicey here in the next couple laps, Josh, as we're in 20 laps to go now. They are going to be catching a lapped car of Brent Miller here very shortly. Good crossover there for Carlos Acosta on Dallas Mayand. Mayand's going to try and do the same thing on the front straightaway, though.
I think Acosta has the advantage. He does. Going to tuck back in front of my hand. Butler and Eisenman are out there 3 wide for the race lead, but Butler and Eisenman have no help. My hand not being aggressive there on the exit of 2 like he has been. Staying right there with Carlos Acosta. And here comes James Miller to the outside with Clark. 3 wide for the race lead. Acosta at the line. Look at that outside line, though. Clark is giving Miller a great push. Now Dallas Myhand all the way down onto that apron. Acosta really with no help. Smith is there now. And they are 4 wide for that race lead. Dallas Myhand still on the apron, now going to slide up in front of Acosta.
Ooh, Acosta didn't really want that to happen. Still not trying to give a lane, trying to swing to the inside now.
Myhand drifted up, Acosta has his bottom.
Smith trying to look underneath him on the apron.
Here comes Miller and Clark once again.
Clark gave a shove to Miller right there in the center of the corner. They were almost both clear of Myhand there for the second. In turn 2, more contact down the back straightaway, but they were just not quite close enough as they continue to push going to turn 3. See Miller just get shot around all over this bumpy back stretch.
They are struggling to hold on to that outside through the corner. Myhand still
Eisenman.
no help. Yeah,
Big
Eisenman.
move to the bottom.
And he's making it stick down there too. He's going to get side by side with Acosta.
He's got no help behind him, but I think he's going to have enough to roll into here ahead of Acosta. Indeed, he is just a little bit ahead of Acosta, but I don't know how this is going to work going into turn 1. barely clear. Acosta's gonna slide up. Carlos Acosta immediately comes over the radio and says everybody gets one.
Now, my other question here is, Brent Miller, you mentioned it. Well, here we go. Dallas Myhan once again all the way down on the inside apron. Going to slide up in front of Eisenman now. What I was going to say is, Brent Miller, you mentioned it earlier. Pretty soon going to be lapped. It's more soon now than ever. And he can see this right in his mirror. You're a lap car and you want to get out of the way. You see this in your mirror. Where do you go? You can't go down to the apron. They're there. You can't go up high. They're also there.
I would go to the fourth lane. No one's using it right now. He's going to go to the apron, though, where they have been racing. Everyone was, I don't know if I would say prepared for that, but no one was really down there. Guess he made that well abundantly clear on the racetrack, so that was a good move there for Brent Miller as we see this dicing on the back straightaway. Everyone just trying to fan out now that they know they don't have to worry about that for these last 15 laps.
Yeah, we have taken 15 laps to go, coming to 14 to go. Driver is still fanning out, and from what we've gathered, it's really hard to pass. You have to go down to the apron and try to make something happen down there, or get a really good shot on the outside and hope the bottom breaks up. So now, I mean, the time to make the move, it is becoming slimmer and slimmer. So everybody stays on the racing surface this time, down the back straightaway. Myhan still leading this race, just ahead of Eisenman and Acosta on the outside.
Here comes Kevin Finn. He has been committed to that third line the most out of anyone this entire race. I don't know how he's gotten to the front of that queue on that top line, but he's just been persistent up there and trying to make something happen. Was up a couple of spots a few moments ago, lost his momentum down the back straightaway. Big moment on the back straightaway for Race. I don't know what happened to him. I might have just been protecting positions. Race Clark in that 22, just ahead of Miller right now. Now to the inside of Kevin Finn.
Finn actually having some connection issues. He's still out there. Still trying everything he can on that high line. Things have seemed to calm down a little bit, Adam, and I'm surprised because laps are winding down. There's only 12 laps to go.
Calm before the storm, Josh.
And
everyone just...
Costa moves to the outside. He's got Smith behind him.
Race Clark all the way on the apron, the only one down there trying to leapfrog a couple positions on that inside lane. Gonna get side by side with the lap car, number 8. Corey Sherman was able to gain a position there on Brett Miller when they lapped him.
And Finn's still out there trying that outside line, 3 wide. Finn currently P5. Just needs some help.
Coming to 10 to go, Josh. You said it's a little bit calm, less chaotic than what it has been. I would watch the number 04 Matt Hackathorn here, because he has been very aggressive when it comes to making up positions. He's been one of the few guys I've seen to be able to drive from the back of the field to the front relatively easy from what it looks like. He's done it a couple times, and the rest of the race it looks like he's just been riding around because he has been a show when he gets to the front. He hasn't really been able to keep it up front when he gets up there, but he has been able to make quick work of this pack.
Still only one caution for 4 laps due to an accident that happened. Otherwise, this race has been all green. But the way these guys are racing, you wouldn't think it's been all green. Shellman, he is not on the lead lap, you mentioned, but he is there helping Acosta. Acosta's committed to that outside line now. It's 9 laps to go at the line.
Clark again on that apron, making a bunch of time up, trying to get side by side with the lead. I think he is going to get side by side with my end here. It just no. Sorry, Josh.
I was going to say we've seen the move work off of 2 when you're on that banking down to the flat, but I don't think it's going to work very well as we see here. It's not for Clark from the flat to the flat. Is Clark going to be the 3rd car in line now? Brady Smith moves up ahead of Acosta.
Going to get a push there off of turn 4, and here comes Eisenman to the inside.
Eisenman going to make it 3 wide with Smith. My hand. Smith pulling ahead. Eisenman going to get ahead of my hand. But now Acosta, oh, Smith gets on the flat.
I don't know if he got bumped down there or if he was just trying to protect it. That looked very abrupted, very unnatural for that number 10 machine who was in the lead at the start-finish line. He's now going to get swallowed up by the pack here and fall to maybe 6th place here, Josh.
And now Acosta once again, race leader. See if he can hold on, but here comes Eisenman. Look at the bottom. Eisenman can try to slide up in front of Acosta. Acosta has to make an aggressive move up high. And Dallas Myhand gonna make it 3 wide in the middle. Eisenman still on the apron. My hand moves all the way up to block. Three wide, my hand on the bottom with no help. Smith in the middle and Acosta with Finn behind him up top. Finn looking for a 4th line. Eisenman going down to the apron. He blinks out. No one knows where he's at.
He's disconnected out.
Oh, man. Tough break there for Eisenman.
Ooh, Smith with a little bit of a push from Clark there off of turn 2. Got a little bit upset. Here comes Dallas Mayan to the inside of Race Clark. Doesn't have any help behind him, though.
They're fanning out 4 wide.
Mayan going to challenge for the lead, and they're going to keep him on the apron. They're going to pin him down there, and he's going to continue to keep that momentum up. Here comes Race Clark. He's going to come into pit road.
They're coming to 5 laps to go. It's Brady Smith, race leader. Carlos Acosta challenging him. Kevin Finn still working that outside line. He's got no help, but he is 3 wide with Acosta and Smith for the race lead. But 4 laps to go here at Auto Club. Smith still leading Acosta. Acosta edging out just a little bit on the front straightaway. And oh, what a move there by Shellman. Still 1 lap down.
Yeah, that move by Shellman completely disrupted the momentum Finn had off of turn 2. He's going to get it back here, side drafting Acosta down the back straightaway. He's going to be again 3 wide for the lead. Smith going to drift a little bit high there in the center of the corner. Continue to wash back down low to try and block Dallas Myhand here.
They are still 3 wide. Great job from Acosta and Finn to hold on. Acosta actually edging ahead of Smith on the straightaways. He's doing so with no help.
Corey Shellman very tight on Dallas Myhand, and now the number 12 of Trevor Butler through 1 and 2, now in the back straightaway. The field continues to fan out here, trying to get something going here in these last couple laps. Been with a little bit of a run on the high side, but Josh, you mentioned all by himself, can't do anything up there.
Oh, leading on each other is Acosta and Smith. They made a little bit of contact. Butler looking down onto the apron. Two laps to go here at Auto Club. I think Dallas Myhand showed the move to make early on. I was a little surprised as everybody started trying it, but now Dallas Myhand is in the perfect position to try it again. They are coming through 3 and 4. White flag is waving. 1 lap to go here at Auto Club, and they are 4 wide at the line.
Trevor Butler had a great run, and Kevin Finn wasn't going to push him. He went to the extreme outside, trying to get that 4th lane going to turn 1. Last-ditch effort for that Kevin Finn car. Trevor Butler just inside of him. He doesn't have enough momentum. It's going to be between Acosta and Smith down this back straightaway, Josh. Here comes Myhand, though. You mentioned that position.
I am not shocked to see that out of my hand, as he is still all the way down there on the apron. Acosta getting a huge push. They are 4 wide. Here comes Miller onto the apron. Miller is trying to get even lower than Myhand. It's not going to work. They are 5 wide.
Shellman tucked up underneath Brady Smith here. Oh, he's going to hit him.
Wrecking at the line. Everybody is scattered now. Going to be 3 wide for the win, but it is going to be Butler over Acosta and Miller. I'm sorry, Finn. Trevor Butler wins this race.
Wow, that was amazing for Butler. Can't help but feel heartbroken for those who couldn't make it to the end here, like Eisenman and Whitley, who was so strong early, and then, wow, that crash in that final corner, Josh. I'm sure we'll get a couple replays of that, but from what I saw, it looked like Shellman just made a little bit of contact, trying to push just trying to give a little bit of a push there to Brady Smith, and it just either wrong time or wrong placement, and it spun the 10 around and collected all the leaders around. We mentioned Josh, the 8 Shellman just trying to push him, Brady Smith, because he's not racing for the win. He's just trying to help everyone else around him, someone in particular there, Josh.
We just saw one replay. We'll go back and see if we can see any more here in a minute. I want to see if Butler actually can do a burnout. Yeah, it's not working out too well. I didn't think it would work. He's still trying. So let's go back and take a look at what happened.
C's just parted perfectly for the 12 car. Can't be remiss to mention, Josh, you were picked to win.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that.
I don't know how we ended up picking 1-2 here.
We really don't know any of these drivers. Say the only driver I've heard of is Carlos Acosta. I know him as a broadcaster, not a driver. So, I mean, it really we knew nobody. So, that was fun. Let's go ahead and take a look at not that. Our unofficial results. Winner, Trevor Butler. Over Carlos Acosta, Kevin Finn in a photo finish. James Miller brings it home 4th, and Matt Hackathorn in 5th.
In 6th was Brady Smith after that contact in 2 and 4. Dallas Mahan ended up in 7th position. Corey Shellman in the 8 ended up 8th. Corey Lindsay finished 1 lap down after being involved in the incident early on. 9th, 1 lap down, like I mentioned. And then in 10th, Race Clark, who we saw come down pit lane in the final 5 laps, he finished 10th. Brent Miller went 3 laps down, he ended up 11th. And Drew Eisenman disconnected there in the last couple of laps. He ended up 12th. And running out our field tonight, Josh, is Michael Whitley and Matt Gruenberg, who both retired after lap 15 accident. They finished 13th and 14th.
All right. See who we can pull in for interview. And apparently nobody. Adam, can you move? Anybody?
Yeah.
I can't. Oh, no, I can't. I don't know why it wasn't working. All right. Well, I'm here with our 3rd place finisher, Kevin Finn. Kevin, what a wild race this was. It was pack racing all race long, and just a lot of chaos. So walk us through what it was like for you out there.
Yeah, I just tried to hang out in the back for a good while. My connection wasn't too good last week, so I was hoping I could just hang out in the back. And I don't know, it was pretty crazy in practice. So I was expecting a little more wrecks, but then we came to the checker. That was expected.
You were working the high line pretty much all race long, whether anybody was with you or not. Was there something out there that you just found that worked better for you? Or, I mean, were you just trying to go where others weren't?
Yeah, I felt more comfortable up there at the inside lane. If you hit that cone, you got a pit road speeding penalty. So I was just trying to avoid that at all costs.
All right, well, photo finish there for you with Carlos and Trevor. Of course, that big accident at the end. Did you have anything for them coming to the line?
I was trying to get someone to run on the outside, but I thought I had it for Carlos at the end. I didn't know that Trevor was all the way in the inside. I thought it was just between me and Carlos, but I'll take a podium.
All right, sponsor shout outs. Who gets it done for you behind that 14?
I got no sponsor, so I'll just say shout out to 3 Wide for bringing this back again. You guys doing the broadcast.
All right. Well, congrats on the podium, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
That was third place finisher Kevin Finn.
I want to quickly, Josh, bring up something he touched on. I was listening to the driver radio, and I believe what happened to Race Clark, we saw him have to pit in the last 5 laps. I think he got a penalty that Kevin just mentioned, a pit road speed violation for using that front straightaway, not really shortcut, but just using the flat there and hits a cone. And I heard someone mention it, and I wasn't quite sure who it was, but I believe it might have been Race, and that's kind of what derailed him from his lead lap finish, Josh.
That would make sense.
All right, let's see if I can catch up with our runner-up finisher tonight. Hey, Carlos, it's Adam up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hi, Adam. I sure do. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Sure not as well as you running that race. That was a lot of fun for us to watch. It looked like a lot of fun out on the racetrack. I want to start off, though, with the last corner, last lap. What did you see out of the front windshield of your GR86 there with everything going on?
I think I need to raise, I think I need to raise my FOV because I thought that I was, it was just myself, and I think it was Kevin Finn behind me finishing third. Did not see Trevor Butler had somehow made it through, and then actually even looking at the replay, he kind of shoved me out of my line, which, you know, it's perfectly fine. He kind of shoved me out of my line. And then like went down low. So I like to say I helped him by using my body momentum to kind of shove him down there. And it looked like Corey was gonna run into him and turn him around, which is what I thought would happen. But Corey, you know, such the gentleman that he is, was like, "Oh, sorry, let me get out of the way for the race winner here," and just let the 12 just skedaddle there on the inside. And on the replay, I think it's just myself and Kevin. So I initially go to kind of like block a little bit up high, and in the group chat I'm singing like "It's gonna be me," and then I look down and I see that there's another person up ahead of me to the inside, and I'm like, "Oh no!" Called my shot a little too quickly.
Well, it was a thrilling finish, though. Not only after the incident, but like you mentioned, the photo finish. Setting up to that, though, a lot of big moments going into the corners, guys setting themselves up for better spots. What was the biggest move that caught you off guard racing up towards the front? Because we saw a lot of wired, not really actions, but just shots for trying to take over the race lead.
So we tested this track. So actually one of the last tracks that we tested to see if this could be a series that we could do and a track that we could also run at. and we had a lot of fun in this car track combination, especially where you could dip on the apron, especially on the exit of the corners, or a little bit after the apex, and just get so much momentum and pass. And while we were avoiding doing that for the majority of the race, once we got past halfway, all bets are off. We don't want to put on a bad race for our first race back. But what really caught my attention is how afraid kind of some people were on pushing people, just because of how easy it is to spin somebody out. And I think I accidentally almost spun out. I forgot who it was, but I almost spun somebody out after I got them to the lead. But it's incredibly easy, and all you have to do is just get a momentum and then just shoot on the outside. And I was able to push people on the outside. So I felt like nobody wanted to push me, so every time I was technically leading on the outside, I was not having a good time because it's like I'm a sitting duck. I'm not where I want to be, and I couldn't put myself in a position I wanted to be for that last lap. Still second though. I'm very much happy about getting a chance to talk to the commentary crew instead of actually being the one that sits behind it. But just getting that run would have been key to winning the race, and also getting that run on the inside, where we saw, especially on the start-finish line, which is the riskiest of them all, because that pit road cone on exiting pit road is right there, and if you clip it before you kind of like merge yourself half back into the racetrack or get a black flag, which is what happened to Drew Eisenman, and we had talked about it before on the drivers' meeting that a black flag like that would not be clearable. So unfortunately, that was his race done. He went down pit road and just called it a night. Hopefully, we'll see him back next week at Lernerville. But wow, that was a fun race. And honestly, I was worried that in the test session, while we did have fun, we wrecked a lot. That this would kind of be a race where just one big wreck happens in lap 10, and then that's it. 5 cars remaining for the rest of the race. But did have a wreck early, and only 2 drivers were out, I think. The rest of the field was able to bring home such a fantastic show for not only the audience, but for us to be in it.
Yeah, Carlos, you mentioned being on the racetrack and not being part of the commentary crew for the We're So Back 100 and the 3 Rock Series. So overall, when the night's said and done, second place finish, 5 weeks left to go. What's the feeling going into Lernerville next week? Like you mentioned, with a lot still left to run here.
All right, I'm feeling confident, but it's kind of a bit of a false confidence. We did test sessions. I did 4 test sessions in the dirt, and I won 3 of them. Now, during those test sessions, we just left it open setup. There's not really much you can tinker with this car, but I know that there were people who, especially dirt veterans, who were just letting it go as it was. But I went in there with my very limited knowledge on setup building, and I was able to get myself something comfortable, and I was able to do pretty well at every single dirt track we went to except Lernerville, although I do feel like I kind of learned something for next week. So I feel confident that I'll probably have a good strong showing, maybe a top 5, if not a top 10, or I should say a top 10 if not a top 5. But I would say watch out for Matt Grunberg, because he was the one that's always running up in the front there on those dirt races, and the only one that was able to beat me in the dirt race that I did participate in.
All right, Carlos, before we let you go, who do you want to shout out and thank to get you here for a run-up finish here tonight at Fontana?
I want to thank Corey Lindsay. He ran this league for so many years. Got burnt out, unfortunately, especially with all the drama that occurred. A lot of drivers were taking this overtly serious, myself included. We just didn't give him the best time as a league owner. So, slowly shutting down to eventually did shut off in 2020. And then, no 3 wide for a couple years. Decided to bring it back. I'm very happy that he did. Excited. Thank you guys for coming on board, kind of at not necessarily the last minute, but it was looking like I was gonna have to go back to broadcasting another series that I desperately wanted to race in again. So thank you guys for coming in there and allowing me to actually race here tonight. But I want to thank everybody that allows me to race, like my family, my girlfriend. the fact that things I probably wouldn't be able to do if I was incredibly busy. So spend a couple hours on a Monday night and be able to say, hey, I'm racing tonight instead of hey, I'm producing tonight. It's very fun.
All right, well, congratulations again on that second place finish, Carlos, and it's good to see you on the racetrack.
No problem. And by the way, for all the people out there watching, I am number 104. But unfortunately, it looks like I may have to change my number to 2 digits for next week.
All right, thank you, Carlos. And now, Josh, I believe you are in victory lane now.
Yeah, and before I do, I just want to say, Carlos, of course, great job for him. Great second place. If you want, I mean, I don't have a problem promoting, 3-wide TV. I mean, this is also the 3-wide racing league, so go check out 3-wide TV on YouTube, where Carlos Acosta and his team broadcast iRacing races just like we do here. So, now in victory lane with Trevor Butler. Trevor, first of all, I just for bragging rights, even though I've never heard of you or any of the other drivers in the series until tonight, I did pick you to win. You were my pick to win. So I just want to get that out of the way. So this race, I mean, it was it was a wild one out there, and the seas parted for you at the end. But
oh yeah,
I mean, what was it like out there? Just all this chaos going on, 4 wide, 5 wide at times.
it's pretty wild. I didn't want to push it too early. I had a little taste earlier in the race. I was like, well, I don't like the middle that much. But as soon as them laps logged and I knew we were close, I was like, it's time to go. And then, yeah, seas parted for me. I mean, I wasn't expecting to win. Definitely wasn't expecting to race tonight, so I appreciate race for that. And of course, Corey for the series. It's a fun race for sure.
Yeah, so after that last lap accident happened, seas parted for you. Of course, it was a 3-wide finish to the end. We heard Carlos say that he had no idea you were there, and he was kind of going up to block Finn a little bit. Did you know where they were at, or how were you coming to the checkered flag there?
I knew they were above me. I didn't know they were right up on me. I was thinking they were a little bit higher because I knew we were 4 wide at one point. So I was, definitely didn't expect. I realized I, kind of doored them there. But yeah.
All right, so next week we head to a totally different racetrack than tonight, being Lernerville. So, I mean, really can't use anything from tonight for next week. But does this bring some momentum to the 12 team?
Oh, for sure. I'm not a good dirt racer. I mean, I've done it here and there, but it definitely helps with the momentum, having a win for sure. I haven't ever raced at Lernerville either, so guess I gotta learn it.
All right, well, sponsors, shout outs, who gets it done for you?
Like to shout out my friends and family and Race, of course, Chris, a friend of mine, Corey Lindsay for putting on this show, and for y'all for the good, awesome broadcast.
All right, well, congrats on the win, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you. We'll see y'all.
That was race winner, Trevor Butler. So, Adam, I'll tell you what, for first impression, these guys definitely caught my attention. They put on a great show. I really had no idea what to expect out of this car track combo. First of all, I know the Toyota GR86s are really meant for road courses, but the one beautiful thing about iRacing is you do really any combination you want, and I have to say I give a lot of props to these guys for doing the testing that they've done to get the tracks, and what a fun event that was.
Yeah, that was definitely a very phenomenal race. I don't know if you can say we had something to expect, something in mind, but with road racing cars with big wings, high downforce, low horsepower that we had tonight, I would say that's a little bit expected here, but I did not expect it just to be persistent throughout the entire race, having just a phenomenal battle up from huge battles for lanes, and each each position on the track really mattered so much tonight, and it was just phenomenal racing. Like we mentioned, Josh, it was a blast to call, and looked like a ton of fun to wheel tonight. But I was very jealous of these guys racing tonight. I don't think I can say the same next week, because it's going to be entertaining for a whole nother sorts of reasons, I think, next Monday night.
You know, we have not had many dirt races on JCTV at all. Like only a couple, and I'm gonna have to learn Lernerville myself as a broadcaster. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's flat, wide. I don't know anything. So as a broadcaster, I've got to do homework, figure out Lernerville. But I'm telling you, I think I'm excited to see what these guys do for the rest of the season, and I kind of sad this one is over already.
Yeah, it went really fast. Very unfortunate, like I mentioned earlier, that we had those incidents and those few mistakes from a couple drivers to take themselves out of the event and to be eliminated from it before we got to lap 50, because it was a great show with as many cars as we had at the start, just to be able to have different lines and so much momentum. But it still was a lot of fun at the end, and like you mentioned, Josh, it is kind of sad night one's over, because it went by really fast, but that's just the nature with the 50 laps sprint here at Auto Club. That last stint just flew right by, because they were just duking it out for each lap, and then those few couple laps where there wasn't a lot of competition, everyone was just setting themselves up for the last 6 or 7 laps. So it was just just a, like I keep saying, Josh, just a blast to watch, and I think we have a lot more fun races to come with this 3-rack series. And like Carlos mentioned, it's really cool to see something different out of 3-wide racing league, and glad we get to see a bunch of different names come into this and put it all on the line for the 3-rack series.
Yeah, you said it perfectly, Adam. I don't think I can, say anything else. I mean, this was phenomenal. But I think that's going to do it from us here tonight at Auto Club. Let's see, what do we got going on this week? Thursday night, we head to Michigan International Speedway for race 2 of the chase for SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series. Looking forward to that one. Of course, I love Michigan. My home track and sister track, actually, at Auto Club. 2-mile D-shaped oval. So tune into that one. It's going to be fun as those guys continue their hopes for a championship. And then, of course, 1 week from tonight, right back here for the 3-Rock Series, but at Lernerville. So a couple of great races coming up. But, yeah, I mean, big thanks to the admins, the drivers, fans. As always, I mean, without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. And so on behalf of Adam Kuhn and the rest of the outstanding crew at JCTV, I'm Joshua Copperl, signing off, saying so long, and we'll see you next time.
Right now when it struggles to start, no, it won't turn over. But he was laughing when I signed the deal. The distance between point A and the end of the day, it feels like forever. Well, maybe I'm just asleep at the wheel, running on empty. Gas ain't cheap, can't change the taillight. There's something I can do for me. Oh, I'm fixing that damn wiper blade, and I'm bleeding this lady today. I'm fixing that damn wiper blade, and I'm seeing my way through the pain. I'm not mechanically inclined to know that I've got a flat while it drags to the shoulder. It's hard enough to keep my eyes on the road, and not sure if the gear's gonna hold. It's starting to smoke, but I can't pull over. Left foot on the gas and I'm almost home, running on empty. Caffeine drains, can't change the station, but there's something I can do for me. Oh, I'm fixing that damn wiper blade, and I'm bleeding this lady today. I'm fixing that damn wiper blade, and I'm seeing my way through the pain. I'll do it myself, don't need no one else. Sick and tired of always asking for help. I'm fixing that damn wiper blade, and I'm bleeding my soul of the rain. I'm fixing that damn wiper blade, and I'm cleaning the slate today.